My name is Kelsey Love. I'm a proud Ngeerrangoon.
I'm Tarryn. I'm also Ngeerrangoon. I'm Kelsey's little sister.
So I'll get you guys to talk a little bit about your arts practice.
Well, should I start with maybe like where? Even though it's
start wherever you want to start.
It's kind of how it starts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I guess we've kind of grown up surrounded a little bit by it. Our Auntie Vicky cousin, she's an artist, and I guess we went along to lots of her exhibitions and just art events, and even like at home we have a few of her pieces up, so we've always kind of been surrounded by it a little bit. But I didn't start until I was in year 12, year 11 and 12, I had as an art subject, and for my class I chose my theme to be my heritage, so it was all about Ngeerangoon, it was all about connecting back to my mob and learning about the practices and culture specifically from Western Victoria. So it was, I guess, all through our life, I've been doing a little bit of art and surrounded by it, but it wasn't until year 11 and 12 where I kind of sat down and actually had to do it for not just a reason, but like specifically for my art class. So.
I guess adding on what Tarryn said, our auntie was very significant in us discovering our art practices, but it's also been lots of different members of our family. Like our aunties, our elders, our mum would teach us weaving, and we've just grown up around possum skins, so it's kind of second nature to us. So we'd never considered it as something that we would do, especially with our grandfather, Uncle Ivan. He was always pushing us to, get your education, you can do anything. And then once we got our education, it's like, well, we can do anything now. So we started to explore our culture and how we could express that. So for me, I know it's mainly expressing and educating others about our culture. Traditionally, in Indigenous culture, art was kind of like to tell stories and to explain your family and your practices. So I guess we like to include that into our art because that's where we've got our art knowledge from. So, and then telling our stories and expressing, I don't know, a lot of my pieces are very family orientated because they're just very significant to me in general. So
yeah, I think it's just, as Kelsey was saying, because Indigenous culture is so strong about family, and like that's where you learn how things work and operate, so everything gets passed down. I think it's just natural for us in our art, even though it might not be it's not so visible maybe, like just through art itself, but in the journey and the process of creating our art is what we've learnt from our, from Mum and Auntie Vicky and Bobo, which is Ivan, Uncle Ivan, our grandpa, like burning onto the wood and weaving the possum skins. That's all stuff that we've learnt from everyone above us. So it's like in our art making and the journey of making a piece and then presenting it, we're kind of showing like what we've learnt and then showing others who come and see like this is the,
a lot of knowledge translation and dissemination through the generations. So yeah.
Was there like a moment that your cultural practice merged into your arts practice?
I learned to weave from my mum and my auntie when I was younger, so I kind of just, I dabble it here and there, and I never thought that I could turn it into art pieces where I could express more through it. But I guess, like Tarryn mentioned, when she was in high school, she did a lot more of it. And then it kind of opened my eyes a little bit to how I could express. So I've been wanting to tell everyone and express my culture because I'm very proud of it. So I find that that's when it kind of met together, and I found that that's how I would express it.
I think I've always been doing it, like since when I was younger, like I was just so intrigued by what my auntie was doing and some of the designs and patterns that she was doing. I'm always curious and asking questions like, what does this mean and what's that for and what does it represent? So I think that's what I've loved drawing. I love patterns and lots of like some natural shapes and that sort of thing. Yeah. And then when I came to school and I had to make the decision, like what do you want your theme to be about? Like what are you going to express? I think it was pretty clear that of which direction I was going to choose. It was always going to be about my culture and about. It was probably that moment because it was at the time it was like an opportunity and a bit of like, yeah, this is definitely the direction I need to go in because it just makes the most sense and something I'm really curious about and still learning. So it was definitely a good opportunity at school to like pick that as the specific thing, and choose culture and go down that path. So.
Yeah.
Our exhibition is about us creating as sisters, and kind of we have a strong bond, and we're both, another thing that our art helps us channel is language and language revival. So we're both very passionate about that, so we've named all our pieces in traditional language, our traditional language. So that's something, I know a lot of Indigenous artists do that, but for us it's particularly special because we share the same language and the same family, so that's a very strong message and influence that we have in this.
And I think it shows a lot of our identity in like being young Indigenous women in like a modern kind of scene, because yes, we do go back to lots of these traditional like weaving and that sort of thing, but we also just the styles in itself and like even patterns and representation, and that like our auntie and mum and uncles that have been very open to let us like, you know, what do you feel you can represent and go portray through. So a lot of it, the symbols can be like men and women and family, but it's also you know, how we want to represent our going back, like connecting the country, and like, a lot of mine show like maps and that sort of thing. So yeah, and like Kelsey was saying, language is really important because down in Victoria, like culture, you don't get to live in it every single day. You are part of a minority, and yeah, unlike up north when you know you get to see it and live it. Up down here, it's more about like going out and seeking it and really making sure that action and going to find your culture and how we can be immersed in it is definitely through our art, and that's how we show it. So.
Some of our pieces we've had for a long time, but we think they're really significant in telling the story of this exhibition. But a lot of them, once we thought of the idea of how can we express our relationship with each other and with our culture, we probably they took maybe over the course of the past year, I reckon, slowly chipping away and making sure everything was, making sure we're telling our story.
Yeah.
What do you want people to take away from this exhibition?
I think to just understand, especially with Indigenous culture, I have a very strong belief that you have to know what country you're on. And like, even though this is not our country, Geelong is Wallarong and maybe Mitchmarsh from Warrnambool, I think it's still really important that we're down in Western Victoria, down in Victoria, representing Indigenous culture that's from down here. And like, there's no dots in any of our paintings, or except one there's like the symbol, but we don't do dot painting like they do up north. We do lines, and that's very specifically down here. And I guess we just want to represent that Indigenous culture is so diverse, and there's still so much that people need to learn about the differences between all the different nations and countries across Australia. So I guess we are here just to represent ours.
And we are constant learning too, so we wanted to show you the new things that we learn.
Yeah, definitely.
Where do you guys see yourselves in the future? You're both very bright, talented individuals. What path do you see yourself going down?
I guess I'm not really sure. I've always been quite fluid in where I go. I'm open to lots of things, but I hope that we can still work together in various aspects. I think it strengthens our bond and our cultural bond as well.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about myself. I don't really have any set plans, like anything that a goal that I want to try and make. It's more just, I love my sport, I love art, definitely passion for education. So I guess in the future I just hope that, I'm at Melbourne Uni at the moment, so I hope I finish my degree, and I'm playing footy, so I hope that I can be playing that at the highest level eventually. And then with art, like you said, just keep making it, keep kind of exploring and learning and finding out more about culture and sharing it with others. So it's really good.
That's so cool. Yeah, I know I can't just speak for myself, but for everyone at Courthouse, we're so excited to have you guys here with us. And yeah, we're excited to see what you guys are going to do in the future and where you end up. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you guys want to go ahead and sign yourselves off.
I guess we just want to also say thank you for having us and giving us such a great opportunity to show our stuff down here where we're from, so we're super excited about that. And yeah, thank you.